Imagine two completely different lives, moving in opposite directions. Man number one is a brilliant Harvard graduate. He is a high-flying Wall Street executive, commanding millions of dollars in annual bonuses, living in a massive, ultra-luxury mansion, and driving the fastest sports cars money can buy. He is the definition of success, knowing every complex financial formula, every economic trend, and every trading algorithm by heart. Man number two never went to college. He spent his entire life working simple, low-wage jobs, first as a humble gas station attendant for 25 years, and then as a part-time janitor. He wore old, faded clothes, drove a cheap, second-hand vehicle, and swept floors for over 3 decades. Now, let me ask you a critical question that reveals the true nature of wealth. Who do you think ended up completely broke, and who became a multimillionaire? The answer will completely shatter everything you think you know about money, investing, and the modern financial system. In 2014, when the quiet old janitor passed away at the age of 92, the entire global financial world stood still in absolute disbelief. His name was Ronald Read, and he left behind a massive, secret fortune of over $8 million. Meanwhile, the flashy Wall Street millionaire filed for bankruptcy, losing every single dollar he had ever earned. How is this humanly possible? How can someone who sweeps floors for a living completely outperform the smartest, most educated minds in finance? Today, we unlock the hidden, forbidden rules of wealth that school never taught you. Welcome back to Daily Level Up. To truly understand this financial miracle, we have to look closely at the daily choices and the unnoticed life of Ronald Read. He wasn't a lottery winner, he didn't hit a jackpot, and he didn't inherit a single penny from his family. He was born into a poor farming household, walking miles to school every single day in the freezing cold. For 25 years, he fixed cars and pumped gas, and for another 17 years, he swept floors at a local JCPenney department store. He lived such a low-profile life that his neighbors genuinely thought he was struggling just to pay rent. One day, a stranger at a local diner even paid for Ronald's meal because his clothes looked so worn out that the stranger assumed the old man couldn't afford food. Ronald quietly thanked him, ate his meal, and went back to work. He used a simple safety pin to hold his old winter jacket together instead of buying a new one. But while the superficial world judged him by his cover, Ronald was secretly executing a master plan inside his tiny financial vault. He understood a truth that most people ignore. Actual wealth is invisible. It is the cars you don't buy, the expensive clothes you don't wear, and the luxury items you choose to pass on. While the rest of society was trapped in a never-ending cycle of consumerism, spending money they didn't have to impress people they didn't like, Ronald was quietly accumulating real power. Ronald Read didn't have a high income, but he possessed something far more powerful than a big salary: absolute emotional discipline, consistency, and the gift of time. Every single month, without exception, he took a tiny fraction of his low wages and invested it into the stock market. He didn't gamble on risky tech trends, he didn't look for get-rich-quick schemes, and he never listened to mainstream media hype. Instead, he bought shares in boring, stable, long-term companies that paid consistent dividends. Household names like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, and General Electric. He held onto these stocks for decades, never selling them out of fear when the market crashed. And here is the ultimate magic trick that built his empire. Whenever these companies paid him dividends, he didn't spend that money to upgrade his lifestyle. He immediately reinvested every single cent to buy even more shares of stock. This creates a powerful snowball effect that Albert Einstein famously called the eighth wonder of the world: compound interest. At first, the growth is completely invisible. It looks like absolutely nothing is happening. For the first 10 years, 20 years, and even 30 years, the returns look small. But Ronald had the patience of a monk. He just kept sweeping, kept saving, and kept reinvesting, allowing the mathematical power of time to turn his tiny coins into a mountain of gold. Now, let's look at the dark side of the coin to understand how the opposite happens. Why did the brilliant Wall Street executive lose absolutely everything? His name was Richard Fuscone, He was highly educated, made millions of dollars a year, and was praised by the media as a certified financial genius. But Richard fell into the ultimate psychological trap, the illusion of wealth and the greed of an uncontrolled ego. Because his income was massive, his expenses became astronomical. He took out huge loans to buy a 20,000 square foot mansion with 11 bathrooms, 2 swimming pools, and a massive guest house. He maintained an incredibly expensive lifestyle that required millions of dollars just to keep running every year. To fund this madness, he started taking massive, highly complex, and extremely risky financial bets. When the 2008 global financial crisis hit the markets, his fragile, debt-fueled empire turned into dust almost overnight. He had massive debt, zero cash flow, and absolutely no patience. He was forced into bankruptcy, losing his mansion and his reputation, while the quiet janitor didn't lose a single night of sleep, watching his stable portfolio recover and grow even larger. When Ronald Reed passed away, his secret came to light, shocking the world. He left $2 million to his stepchildren and over $6 million as a direct donation to his local library and hospital. A simple man with a broom changed the economic future of his entire community for generations to come. This incredible story proves a beautiful, brutal truth about the modern financial system. Doing well with money is not necessarily about what you know or where you went to school. It is entirely about how you behave. True financial success is a soft skill, driven by discipline, patience, and emotional control rather than high intelligence. You do not need a Harvard degree or a six-figure corporate salary to build ultimate financial freedom. High intelligence and a massive income are completely useless if you lack the discipline to control your spending. If you live your life trying to look rich to the outside world, you are playing a losing game that always ends in financial stress. But if you start today, right now, by controlling your daily expenses, investing consistently, and letting the power of time do the heavy lifting, you can break the matrix. Stop buying liabilities that take money out of your pocket. Start buying assets that put money into your pocket. The choice is entirely yours. Will you live your life to look rich, or will you quietly build actual wealth? Level up your mindset every single day. Hit that subscribe button, and we will see you in the next video.